hate and just love to hate. And who else is it? It was somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was one of the white guys on Charlamagne's show talking about how he can't take them seriously because
Must be talking
yada
about
yada.
DJ Envy, I believe, in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man, no, this is crazy because listen, lately I've been listening to a lot of UK rap. I'm talking about the drill, the Lancey, the indie. Listen to a lot of. I've been even listening to the. You ever heard of the Struts?
The stress. Now see, now you're putting me on, bro. I ain't even. I'm
Oh
gonna look into that
man,
because
they
once you said India, I was like, yeah, this is someone that. Because bro, when I say UK music, people automatically think, oh, I'm like, nah, bro. Like people like the Gorillas, yeah, goated band.
yeah. But like when people think of UK music, they think of like people like some people think of Lancey, but a lot of people think of like UK drill rap.
Do you know what? People only think of Lancey. They're from our generation, like proper young people.
Yeah.
Because Lancey's popped off now, innit? But before, exactly what you were saying, it would be either drill or like Stormzy or. Fam, I'd be lucky if people even know Skepta sometimes. And Skepta's someone that everyone
Oh
should know,
yeah,
in my
man,
opinion.
Skepta the goat, bro.
Skepta's one of them people that doesn't come to your mind first, but once I say it, everyone's like, oh yeah, of course, yeah. Because
And
he's one of the few people that managed to, get on the track and like the Americans are like, okay, yeah, we approve this.
it's not even an approval part. It's just like when you think about it, bro. Skepta, he really bought like
Skepta's the
the UK.
pioneer, bro.
That man brought the like UK sound over here. Like before, if it wasn't for Skepta on the 2K soundtrack, I wouldn't even be on UK rap as much as I'm on right now. That's crazy.
For real.
And then he
For real,
collided
for
with
real.
the mob in New York and ASAP and them dog. Crazy.
But no, I don't even be hating on people and they're like, I'm not really into it. Because I'm from the UK and I don't listen to drill like that. And that's something that me and my friends argue about because they're like, how are you from the UK? You don't listen to them. And I'm like, because it's just not as versatile as it could be. Like, I can, and no one argues with me on this. I can go to American rap music and I can listen to like a Trippie Redd for a certain mood. And then I can go from Trippie Redd and listen to like, I don't know, like a Joey Badass. And it's like two completely different vibes
Different genres, different
as opposed to
things.
within drill where it's like, cool, we get it. Like, you're all killing people.
Yeah.
But who's bringing something different to the table,
Yeah.
basically?
Like in drill though, is it like alright.
Because there's good drill artists. I'm not
Yeah,
even going
it
to say
is.
I'm cap.
I think
But
I think my favorite drill artist right now is Central C and Fredo and Dave.
I feel that.
Yeah.
But nah, because when it comes to drill, I'm like, that's why I could never do it. Because it's the easy path, basically.
You ever tried to rap on the drill beat?
No, of course I do be, but like
Yeah.
I still be adding my own kind of swag to it in the sense that like you see like Shawnee Bin Laden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I be doing like the fast kind of beats, but in terms of just like normal, like how do I put it, just like vanilla, basically, just basic drill, I couldn't because I would get bored of it after a while.
Man, but you know it's crazy, bro. It's crazy how you are from the UK, but the Y and Fleazy song, I swear, I never would have thought that you was from the UK.
Nah, that's because I've been banging out Flint music for like a solid year now.
Like, yo, I'm like, and then it's just crazy because finding out that you from the UK and knowing that you could deliver in a different genre and flow. Oh my god! Oh,
Of course, I think that's an important skill because even when I gave the Skepta example, right, of that Praise the Lord, right, with him and Rocky,
mm-hmm.
that's an example of, you get on a beat and you pay homage in the sense that like, even, okay, a good example is what like Yachty was doing, right, with putting all that, the Flint rappers on when he dropped the Michigan Boy birthday.
Yeah,
Because it's like, there's so many different styles, different genres, different interpretations of rap, yeah. For you to only be good at essentially what your region is known for is just, it's not really an achievement for me. That's how I said I could easily hop on drill. And it's because it's literally what is around me 24/7. It wouldn't be that hard. The whole image and everything and being authentic, that's the whole other side of it, which people don't ever talk about because you get checked a lot of your drill artist. Your fans want to know that, oh, is he really on it? Like, is he
yeah,
really riding and shit?
and that's what I've been hearing a lot, like from like the popping, the upcoming drill rappers that be on GRM Daily, they be like having the Balkovs on and all the masks on, man. Those look
That,
dangerous.
that's why I'm like, for real, the way I see it, everyone is entitled to do their own thing, which is why even though I've got friends literally that I know of that are doing drill, and it's like for them, they're like, it's all I know, and which even though I'm like, there's so much more to music, I'm like, cool, you do you, but I feel like it's so much easier for me, and even like American people that have the vibe of my music, I feel like it's for that fact because I'm not trying to make music to be like, oh, I do this or I do that. I want to make music people can just vibe to the end of the day. And when you make music for vibes, it's gonna go global because like everyone can vibe. I can vibe to a song that is in Spanish, for example, that I don't even know the lyrics to, right? In fact, one of my favorite songs that I vibe to is in Portuguese. Like I don't know what the lyrics mean. I have to have it explained to me.
But it's
But
just the
you know what I
vibe of the
mean?
song.
For real.
Yeah, respect it.
So because even with drill, the thing that people forget to take into account is I feel like it's a very small-minded. You can start off in drill, but I feel like if you don't intend of spanning out from there, it's you're not setting yourself up because the way I see it, right, I'm not doing music just because that's to get like the short-lived fame and quick money or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm doing it to like piggyback off of it and do you know what I mean have like generational wealth for my family. So for me to kind of go as big as I can possibly go, it wouldn't make sense to do something like drill where like for example the terms we use and everything and the whole style of music basically limits you to your own country. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and matter of fact, speaking of that, I think when you said that, I really felt, I really felt that's what Lancey was really doing.
That's why I rock with him so heavy. That's someone that I genuinely look up to, and I don't look up to that many people.
Because when you think about it, right, Lancey, of course, he's from the UK, but like you really don't hear. I really never even heard Lancey even try to hop on a drill beat. It's nothing but like out of town type beats, hyper.
No. Trust me, he's done it, but exactly what you said. It's like out of town, so it's he's still adding his own. And that's what I feel like more people should be doing is adding your own style to it and not trying to like stick to because Chicago drill has been a thing for ages.
Yeah, and I'm not
So
saying nothing bad about Chicago drill, but it gets old after a while. Like it's be the
thank you.
same
There you
stuff,
go.
man. I don't like listening to the same stuff.
Because even now, for example, what I would say is, which I'm not even telling that many people this, but what I'm hopping on now that I'm starting to like is like drill and B, which is like a mix of drill and plug and B.
Ain't matter of fact, is that like something like the Baby Santana? You ever heard the Baby Santana antisocial one?
Yeah, basically something like that.
Yeah, and you know how he said something about turning to a drill beat in that verse?
The, yeah, the beat switch, but drill and B is something that is going up for sure. And then obviously I gave the example like Shawnee Bin Laden, he's got his whole that's something that is which is ironic because it did start in the UK. There's a rapper from here, S1, who's literally notorious for having that fast-paced tracks and the whole energy of the track and everything is just. That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna be doing drill, you have to at least have something that separates you for real.
Hmm. So really over there in the UK, it's really about stepping out of the zone that the world's trying to put y'all in. Be,
For real, for real.
okay, listen, when I matter of fact today I was playing UK music and like my parents they was like I just don't like their voices sound weird, but I'm like it don't listen. I'm like we sound weird to them. You know, it's
That's
not
the crazy thing.
like
The thing I would say, which I think puts it into perspective the best, right? And this is like the most simple way to explain it. The UK fits inside America 40 times over.
dang. It is that matter of fact.
40 times over. We are such a small island. So what Americans I feel like from your perspective might not get, and I'm not gonna even use you as an example because you're someone that actually generally makes effort to like know
Mhm.
about what's going on in other cultures and stuff. But
Yeah.
what Americans generally speaking from their perspective fail to understand is that you guys are one of the like cultural hubs of the world. So in a way, you can go anywhere and speak English, and there'll be someone that at least knows some English to speak back to you and understands what you're saying, because you're such a big place
Yeah,
that basically it's impossible for the rest of the world to ignore you or not know about what's going on in your country, right? But when you're, the UK, a small island, and sure, we have history and our kind of reputation precedes us in a sense, even though we are a small place, like we have quite a large reputation. It's still a matter of we're not a central cultural hub or anything to where if you hear our voice, it is going to sound weird. Because you hear American voices in media so much that even though, yeah, it is weird to us, and there's certain accents, for example, like Baltimore accent, I will never get over that, bro. They
yeah. Nah, they
they
accent.
they
They're
be
different.
sounding like they just got off the boat from Britain yesterday.
They're
Like,
different.
it is crazy. And niggas be wild. But yeah, for real, when you're as big a country as like people forget to deep that America is basically a continent.
It really, and that's what
There
people.
is no other country that has as big a landmass, I don't think.
I
Because you
mean,
guys literally take up almost your whole continent.
besides maybe Eurasia, like Europe and Asia. Russia
Yeah.
got their side and Asia
But
got
but
their
do you
side.
see that's another good example you just gave, because if I ask you to think of Asia, what's the first thing you think of? China, because it takes up such a significant space. It's impossible to ignore what's going on there.
Right. Damn. Damn, man. That's crazy.
So that's what I'm saying. You have to always have perspective. So me personally, I don't feel personally that attacked or insulted if someone says, oh, I don't really rock with UK music like that. Because I already said myself, I don't really rock with UK music like that. The majority of what I listen to is American music, but the UK music I do listen to is definitely stuff I would recommend to other people. Because for me to listen to UK music, it has to bring something different. So I know for a fact if I enjoy it, anybody would be able to enjoy it.
That's real. Cause listen, like nowadays, some people be stingy with the artists nowadays. That's crazy. It's like, people so people so much want to be the OG fan. They want to have the OG fan reputation that they hide the artist and they don't support the artist and put the artist out there as they're supposed to be because they want to keep the day
But
one reputation.
the thing with that is, it's understandable because literally me and Caleb, what's it missing since Monday? We were talking about this yesterday when we were on the Discord call, because I was like, I do get part of it, because the best example I can give is X, right?
Yeah,
I've had to basically step back as an X fan because the fan base has just become so saturated now that it's
bro.
like,
That's like me with
t-
the
t-
Cardi fan base right now. Oh my
there
god.
you go. Because
Oh
even with the Carti fan base, I feel like I'm someone that watches from the sidelines. I don't actively get involved and say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Carti fan," because like the fan base now is not what it was.
yeah, it's not
Like
what it was. Like it's so
even just thinking back to self-titled days, which were the best days to be a Carti fan, because everyone was just enjoying the music. No one was trying to deconstruct it and find deeper meaning or figure out why it was so enjoyable. Everyone was just enjoying it, which is what the artist intended. And it's obviously like expected that, as someone grows and everything, it's gonna happen. But I feel you in terms of the whole hiding artist. I've grown out of that stage because I now understand that if you really care about the artist as much as you claim you do, then like if you care enough to want to hide them, you should care enough to want other people to find them and enjoy their music the same way you enjoy it.
and
Like you would not want to rob other people of that privilege if you really enjoy the artist as much as you say you do.
yeah, like if I enjoy, that's how I feel like if I enjoy a good vibe with this artist, I'm gonna recommend you this artist because I'm doing you and the artist favor. I'm plugging you into some good music, and I'm getting the artist more known. And it spreads like a wildfire.
Do you know what I will say is a lot of people forget that it's equal responsibility on the new fans the artist gets, but also the artists themselves, because there are good examples of people who have not changed at all despite being famous. Even the X's fan base changed, X as a person did not change. And
Mhm.
that's why it was a lot easier. even other examples I can give is mainly when people pass in it, but even flipping who am I thinking of? Right, so Fago was the first person that came to mind because that's someone that as soon as he became famous, I started to deeply hate him because I was like, it's like came famous, and then on the cherry on top of the cake was him getting signed by Travis, and then now I feel like his ego is just
Yeah, but and that's the thing, like, you know, and that just goes to show you how 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 he was really not genuine because he's not plugging back into his real fan base type job.
for real.
I just
Because
feel like,
even someone like Wick, for example, right, and
yeah,
when
Wick,
Wick is getting on, and when Wick did a song with Tisa, I was beyond gassed because I was like, this is a collab I didn't even know I needed. I've been listening to both of them for ages. I've been listening to Tisa from back because everyone forgets that Tisa's made bare hits, and then everyone stops listening to him in between those hits. I've been listening to Tisa from back, like Soapy days, like when he made Dip, all of that. So even when Uzi hops on the remix and everyone was like, oh yeah, yeah. And I'm like, nah, he made the original track. And the original track to this day still goes harder. Uzi made a hard song, yeah, but Tisa's been there. So when, I saw Wick gain a little bit of buzz
yeah,
and he was still staying true to himself and everything, which I feel like is dope. And then that's why I feel like Wick is one of those fan bases where even if he does now become mainstream, we can all agree that it's earned and it's deserved. You know what I
like,
mean?
and that the same thing goes for Lucky.
There you go. Because even Lucky blowing up on TikTok and like people having a problem with that, I'm like, you guys have to remember that this man has worked so hard
And
for so long.
they're
So if
giving him the king of the underground title. Like he been in the underground for so long, dog.
he said it himself in his own interviews where he talks about like because it's almost like he's making an intentional effort to make himself like not be discovered, but then it's like that's why I'm saying there's always that conflict of you want to remain underground because that's where the realness comes from, but
Yeah,
at the same time, it's that mainstream. Because for me, the way I see it, right, as an artist, you have a message, right? Every artist has a core message, right? Carti basically, dial it, be yourself, and he stays true to that, you know.
yeah.
And every artist has their own kind of with X was kind of growing and changing as a person and evolving. And if you have that core message, you're not gonna feel that kind of conflict about becoming mainstream or getting on because you get that message is so important that it's more important than trying to remain low key or because you want as many people as possible to hear that message.
And I believe that that's really what makes an artist artist.
For real. Because even now, I'm smart enough to understand that like I just started. I haven't got like I wouldn't even categorize myself as someone who has a buzz yet until I at least get like my first 100 followers or whatever. But even though I'm aware of numbers, I don't focus on them. If that makes sense.
And I feel and that's what a lot of artists say. They say like the more that you focus, they said the more that you focus on like the money, the streams, you really not in
Because
love with the music and your work start to fall. That's why you have to
when
genuinely love the music.
when I was talking to Monday yesterday, we were like I was explaining to him why, and he low-key agreed with me as in why I don't really mess with pop music, and I feel like I can never listen to it because it's not genuine. Because I'm like they're making a product. It's not music anymore at that point. Because if your focus is how well is something gonna sell, that's not art anymore at that point. You're making a product basically.
Yeah,
You've figured out the best formula and the best songwriters you can get in one studio and the best catchy hook you can make to make it sell.
and that's another thing. That's what matter of fact. This happened not too long ago with Lil Baby, right? So Lil Baby, he was trying to get a female on the remix. It was a whole bunch of harder females than Megan Thee Stallion. He was saying that they should be
Mm.
on the remix. But
People that he could have put on for real.
yeah, but he chose Megan because it was gonna sell more.
Mm.
And I see that a lot. Like I see and I really open my eyes to see like it's really not about talent. It's really about sales. Nowadays.
Because I'll say for real, like one of the best pieces of advice I could give people, besides obviously as you said, not focusing on numbers, is like once you learn to separate, because I have to accept that there's always going to be people in the industry where they're just focused on, you know, what comes with it. But it's like me, I'd much rather perfect my craft and make the best. Literally, that's my goal, is just make the best possible music that I can. Because end of the day, that's what, when I'm listening to other artists and whatnot, that feeling I get is not from knowing that, oh, this album sold 100. No, it's knowing that, damn, this is a really solid piece of work.
And that's another thing. And matter of fact, this is what like Kanye, man, that graduation album, Last Registration. It's pretty much like them type of albums, bro. Them are albums that you could actually sit down and listen to.
That's what I'm saying. Like one of Beyonce's most real quotes was that people don't make albums anymore; they just make compilations.
Yeah,
And it's for real.
like no albums, like that Lil Durk and Lil Baby album that just dropped. That's not an album, dude.
People don't make albums; they just make compilations of singles. And I was like, that ain't real. Because all of the albums I can list as my best albums is because they're albums I can sit and listen all the way through.
Like I feel like even though like Drake dropped Scorpion 3 years ago, the Dark Lane demo takes, man, that was definitely a confirmation.
Thank you. No, but at least with the Dark Lane demo tapes, because what I'll say with the Dark Lane demo tapes, he made it quite clear it was more of a playlist.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the craziest thing about it is one of Drake's biggest quote unquote playlists, More Life, in my opinion, is one of his best complete albums. And obviously, I'm a bit biased because that was the album where he put on the UK a bit. You know, we had gigs, we had Skepta on there, but taking that bias aside, More Life is such a solid piece of. Matter of fact, let me write it down because I need to go back and re-listen to that. Because boy,
hey, listen. That's and listen.
It's for me when it comes to solid piece of work, More Life and flipping. If you're reading this now, it's too late.
No, nothing was the same, my boy. Oh my God.
Nah, because even with older Drake, I'm agree with you. Nothing was the same. Because I was even listening to like his very first mixtape.
What's the name of it?
I'd be forgetting the name of that joint. The one where it's like him and it's like flying to catch a balloon or something. Here we are. So Far Gone. That's it. 2009.
Yeah, I was about to say So Far Gone. Matter of fact, I was about to say the other playlist with his face on. Hold on.
What are you thinking about? Thank Me Later.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
that was a solid piece of it.
But yeah, nothing was the same. I can agree with that for sure. I remember
I just feel like when they really feel like he really deserved Artist of the Decade, man. Because listen, throughout 2009 and today, bro, he's dropped nothing but
it's not even like deserved. It was undisputed. That's why no one had a problem with it, because that's what I'm saying as an artist, yeah. Because a lot of people tend to forget when it comes to success as an artist in terms of recognition and actual validity in terms of how your work stands by itself. If no one knew who you was and the name attached to it, people forget that there's correlation, but it's not cause. Do you know what I mean? Like, Drake does not make the best music ever because he's so famous. It's not directly tied to it.
I'm not saying that he makes the best
music. A lot of people will look at someone like Drake that makes obviously solid music and then see the fame and then automatically make the connection that, okay, so if a rapper doesn't have that type of level of fame, then they're not good. And it's like,
and that's where they get it messed up at. Because if you look at people like Joey Badass,
so many of our best rappers come out of the underground, for real.
Denzel Curry, you got your Ski Mask.
Do you know what I mean? And these are all people that came up out of the underground, like proper. Especially like Florida was going crazy back in the day. Like they need to start putting out more.
Members only, the whole collective, my boy.
Because the thing is, yeah. Got Steve Rickett. The thing is, with like prime Lil Pump and Smirk Puff and all of them,
and you had
Florida was going hard.
Whole Raider clan, bro. Oh my God.
Florida was really taking dubs back in them days. And then I feel like everyone says that like Kodak was probably the last good artists that they like kind of popped out. And I'm sure there's probably still young ones out now, but Florida's definitely not going as hard as they were.
Yeah. I mean, but like when ASAP and them started like buzzing around what 2010 through what 10 through what 15, 16, bro.
Mm,
And they was obviously one of the best groups I ever heard. Like that whole collective was crazy.
for real, for real. But nah, when it comes to damn, because when it comes to collectives, I feel a type of way because I'm like, you have to be damn good as a group. Because even someone like or Odd Future, yeah,
Yeah,
you have to be damn good as a group because it's a structure that in a way is somewhat doomed to fail. Basically, that's why I feel like groups get like even Wu Tang. That's why people still talk about Wu Tang to this day. Is because when you're in a structure that literally, especially in the music industry, right, and it
mm,
being the way it is doomed to fail in the sense that like there's always going to be egos involved and there's always going to be the fans obviously being biased towards one or the other. And with that and all of that going on, if you still be make solid pieces of work through it is definitely an achievement. But that's why I still recommend I'm like people go the solo route because even with me, I want to have a creative collective and stuff, but at the same time, I'm like I don't want to have like strong ties if that makes sense.
yeah. Like I
Because
feel
I,
like
I want to be able to work with so many different people that it wouldn't make sense if, like, say I signed to flipping, like, say I meet Lancey Phil one day and I signed to Lancey.
mm,
I've thought about. I'm like, so basically, I could never work with Carti in the future because they have beef. Do you know what I mean? I'd have to be like holding my loyalty down to one person. That's why I'm like, I would much rather be. I'm just me. I'm Kamo. I work with
yeah,
everyone,
and
and it's like
that's
I
another
can be cool with them and them and them, and it's no problems.
and that's another thing. Like wait. You said say that you signed a Lancey and you couldn't do Cardi.
Hmm.
All right, but that's another example. Like just like this. Say I signed a Cardi. I couldn't go make a song with Uno,
There you
Thousand
go,
Man,
for
or
real.
well, who else was Cardi beefing with?
D Savage,
D Savage. Like,
and that's a good one because D Savage actually is a decent artist.
yeah, bro, I swear, he got a song with some other dudes, man. It's called West Atlanta. I've been listening to that on repeat heavily for like the past few
Hmm.
years now. And that's and,
But
and
that's
and that's what I don't like about being like signed to an artist. Like
for real.
for instance, for example, bro, like the Memphis, you got CMG, you got Yo Gotti, Moneybag Yo, Black Youngster, then you got uh Paper Route Empire with Young Dolph and Key Glock in them.
Hmm.
Like, say I signed a Yo Gotti, I can't do a song with Young Dolph and Key Glock, even though I really like Young Dolph and Key Glock. That's why I would not sign with an artist. Like I feel like I wouldn't be good with signing with an
But I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not signing period because even when I saw like Wick going through his whole thing of, and that's why I'm saying it's important to pay attention to a lot of stuff that artists go, especially if you want to be a musician
artist.
outside of the music. Because when Wick was venting his frustration about his whole label situation, in the sense of like him wanting to sign but being conflicted, because obviously, and it is true because when you're coming up out the underground, there is that kind of pressure of, hey, you got to stay independent. And I'm always like, it's not even your place as a fan to make that decision for somebody. If they get in a messed up deal, end of the day, it's like, sure, it kind of low-key affects you in the sense that they might not be making the greatest music no more, but these are fully grown men. They can make their own decisions. So
Yeah,
even when people are feeling sorry for Uzi and the whole free Uzi movement was going on, I was like, nah, he signed that contract. No, he was signing. He
yeah,
had a
like
lawyer. And to be honest, Uzi, out of all the artists that have signed to other artists, has one of the best record deals. I am telling you, if you see how much money this man makes, how much his work he owns, and how much creative freedom he has one of the best out of everyone that came out of that double XL freshman class. He probably has the best record deal right now.
Damn, what about 21 Savage?
I mean, 21 chooses not to drop regularly, so
Yeah, you're
and
right.
who's
You're right.
who's
But it's
21 even signed to right
but
now?
as far as yeah, I feel you on that matter of fact. Because listen,
Because
as soon
Uzi is the
as
one that has the best, like, in terms of monetary and creative control.
and plus his fan base more of a cult following. I mean, you got your Kodak Black fans. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it wrong. The Kodak Black fans, they'll ride for him. But like, as far as like the fans and the stands account, as far as the fans and stands, bro, I feel like Uzi. That's what really sold Uzi, man. That's what sold him. Like,
Nah, but for real, I am not trying to sign at any point in the future. And that's just me, because the way I see it, I'm like, cool, say now. And when I say sign, obviously, I'm speaking about sign to a record label. People forget that record and distro are two different things. You can sign a distribution deal and still completely own all your work.
yeah,
Like, Cochise has a distribution deal with Columbia, I'm pretty sure. And it's like, they're paying him.
I
That's
heard,
that's how you finesse the system.
I heard, who was? I want to say it was Pharrell who signed a publishing deal with no. It was Kanye. Kanye signed a publishing deal with no, he was finna sign a publishing deal with Apple for 20
Yeah,
million or
but
for 80
those
million.
those Apple deals are some of the best deals you'll get as an artist, especially once you get big, because Frank, that's how Frank finesses his way out of
Yeah,
Def
that's what
Jam.
I was just getting the Frank Ocean, bro.
He
That's
handed
what
them in his last album and dropped Blonde the next day exclusively on Apple for 20 mil.
yeah, that's what Rocky said this how
Literally, that's why Rocky was in the interview. Like, no one talks about it, but this man finessed the whole industry. And he owns all his masters. To this day, a lot of artists aren't allowed to do Apple exclusives because of what Frank Ocean did. Any artist signed to a major label isn't allowed.
and that's crazy, bro. That's just crazy. And you know what's the bad thing about it, bro? This man don't even be dropping. He don't drop music no more. That
It's
man,
not been that, like, when you're a Frank Ocean fan, you learn to understand that the way he works is different, and I appreciate it because it makes the most sense. And because I have to remember, Frank Ocean is not a rapper. You get it? So
yeah, yeah,
for him,
he
he much rather go for 4 years and actually live his life and experience stuff, and not have that pressure of being an artist, and come to it when he feels he's ready. Which, as I said, exactly what you said, it can be a double-edged sword, because it's like, bro, like, you can feel like it for too long. But even now, people are giving him his space because his brother passed, obviously.
yeah, yeah,
And so everyone's like, yeah, he can take. For real, I, as a Frank Ocean fan, have accepted that Blonde might be his last album. And I'm okay with that. Because it's such a solid piece of work, because I'm fine. I can go through his current discography and be set for the rest of my foreseeable
yeah,
life.
yeah. That's how it is with that's how you like Kanye, Pharrell, and
No,
Nas
but for real,
and
you get to a point where you don't
Outkast
even need
and
to drop no music no
Outkast,
more.
bro. Outkast.
I feel like a big part of a rap career is knowing when to retire, because
I mean,
so someone phrased it in a way where I can't remember who it was, but it was like a top rapper, and he was talking about how you want to basically quit before you fall off. I think it was either J. Cole or Drake. It was one of the two, because they
I mean,
both say it sometimes.
it sounds like J. Cole. It's more fun.
Yeah, he's like, you
I
want to
think
quit before you fall off,
that
and
that was in a documentary, matter of fact,
it might have been, yeah.
in
And
about the fall
I
line.
was like, I've always had that, in a sense that, like, not even that, because then you're worrying about other people's opinions, but it's just when you feel like you don't need to do any more, that's when you step back as a rapper.
And I feel like that's probably why he did go to the basketball league for a little minute, because he felt like he did. I mean, listen, he pretty much done did everything there is to do rapping. Platinum with no features.
For real.
Solid pieces of work, solid pieces of singles, a whole collective like JID and No Spillage Village, Perfect Gang and them. I'm pretty sure he made his mark on the rap game as far as him not needing to rap no more. That's how I really feel about the J. Cole like situation.
But even because I'm thinking about it now, even with, I say I would start my own label, and I'm still conflicted on that low key, because I'm thinking about it from the perspective where I'm like, I'm gonna make a comparison, right? For me to start my own label, and what I would be doing is signing young people basically from London, from where I'm from, that are like me and don't fit into the usual cutout structure of or drill or UK rap or whatever. And I'm trying to do something a bit more creative, right? Whether that's indie, whether that's rock, whether that's whatever it is. Because I feel like I've learned a decent amount in terms of creating and stuff. Because I don't just do music. I was doing art before I even started music.
So like art. What you mean by art? Like digital art?
I transitioned to digital, but yeah, I'm painting, drawing. I did art at high school. I've been drawing like all my life basically.
So like you know how to do your own cover arts if it come down to it.
For real, I've been doing my own cover arts. I don't. I'm gonna only start commissioning people in the future because there's a certain aesthetic that I want to go for. That I know that like I feel like as an artist, you have to also have humility to know when that's not my forte. Let me hand it over to someone else. Because even when it comes to production right now, I'm learning to produce. But for the time being, I know for real that my thing is I can rap. So cool, I'm gonna stick to that.
So
But
like,
with regards to signing people, it's like I would sign people in the same way someone would say, "Ah, oh, why are you going to be signing people if you yourself said you wouldn't sign to a label?" And it's like it's the same thing as me, for example, not wanting to go to uni, but wanting my kids to go to uni because they have no excuse not to. If I work hard to ensure that they're well taken care of and they have money behind them,
yeah,
they
that
have no reason to not go and pursue the education that I wasn't able to get because I was focused on getting that money for them. You
and
get it?
that's and I feel like that's a good thing to like. As far as looking in the future to start an independent label, I feel like that's a good thing to look at. You know,
For
make
real.
sure that you like treat the label like they're your kids, and you have to do this stuff.
There you go, for real. Because
Have
it's
to
like
do
it's a family. Because
yeah,
even J. Cole will say that about Dreamville. It's supposed to be like a family, especially if it's a independent slash artist owned label. It should feel like that.
and
Because no one is signing to you to still feel like they're underneath a corporate
and
management type system.
and another one is TDE, man. Over there with Kendrick, Schoolboy Q, Absol, uh, was Freddie Gibbs, I believe. J
For real,
Rock,
there's so many great examples.
Baby King, all of them is at TDE, and all of them grew up in the same hood, I believe. And you know, Dr. Dre grew up in that hood too. So like it's and I feel like Dreamville and TDE, them are most definitely like family like labels. I would say members only, but that's more like a collective.
Mm.
I can't say ASAP though, because ASAP was like a family too. You know, you had
Even
Ant,
even org. So,
yeah, all yeah, Father, Ethereal, shoot yeah.
but what I was saying in terms of like with making an independent label, it would be even being able to have that kind of like environment is because when I start a label, every label's goal is to get a return on the investment. And it's like, I guess, sure, that might be in the back of my mind. But when I start a label, my main goal is going to be how can I improve this artist as much as possible?
And that's another thing with labels nowadays. Like they look at what they can get out of the artist instead of what they can make the artist. You know?
And it's crazy stupid because when you put into the artist, you're going to get back out. So what they do is invest money, right? Which money doesn't make a good album, is what a lot of people forget.
Yeah.
I can pick up a random Joe for the street and give him $1 million budget for an album, and he can still make a shitty album, right? So they pump money into the artist and sit there and wait for the artist to bring back more. That's why I say it's business. It's not. It ain't nothing to do with the art
And
or they don't care if your album was a career defining, turn of the century. Oh, it didn't go number one. You axed. You're not on the label no more. And it's like, or not even the worst thing about it is being on a corporate label is they will just stop investing in you, period. That's the worst thing I feel like. Where you didn't do well on your last album, we ain't putting no more studio money into you.
I feel
And
like
then you have to explain to your fans why you can't drop anymore.
who had a situation like that? I want to say it was Rich the Kid and Jay Critch, the Rich Forever Collector.
There's a whole pop artist who basically got dropped by her label, and she's unknown as well, which further kind of adds to the point because she had like a good one-hit album, and then that's what I'm saying. Even with hits and everything, everyone wants a hit, and I'm like, why? Because that gives you something to live up to for the rest of your foreseeable career. Uzi would never make another EXO Tour Life.
Nah, but don't forget, Uzi said Uzi said he got a song in the vault that's better than Exhorto Life. He just not gonna drop it.
But even then, that's his opinion, because remember this that no one ever wants to speak about. Uzi dropped EXO Tour Life as a Lucy. He didn't intend on it becoming a hit. Everyone can say what they want to say about, oh, we heard it in the studio, and so why was it not on Love is Rage? It was on Love is Rage 1.5, and then once it picked up and was getting success, then they put it on Love is Rage 2. The song was a Lucy.
So
it was literally just
really so he really finessed it on 2 albums or mixtapes.
For real. Because yeah, and no one ever actually wants to talk about the fact that Uzi made $1 million off of a mixtape, which is crazy. Wow, signed, which is just crazy. At least he talks about it, because bro,
I believe like, listen, if I got
when you're an Uzi fan, you know he's not capping.
Yeah, because look at what he does. Look at what he buys. Man, a $24 million diamond, that's enough. That is enough to explain how good of an artist and how good his streams are. Some rappers didn't even see 24 million yet.
Oh, you know, a good example that I actually just thought of is flipping in terms of independent artists, Brent Fires, right?
Yes.
Because he is the prime example of what I would have, in the sense that I want to have a team that's like my circle, and that's family, and then basically, I've literally got, because once I start getting to a point where I've managed everything myself for a while, and I'm starting to get on, I've got a list of all the people that I need to hire and basically recruit and then manage it out so that everyone's getting paid their fair share. But for real, it's just like, bro, I ain't even got to go out of family for my DJ, because I literally know a DJ that I'm family with. So and that's what I'm talking about, is little things like that. When I start doing live shows and all this, he's going to be the one coming out with me. And that's someone that's family that's been supporting me. So when I tell people, put the people on that put you on, he was the one that was teaching me about mixing decks and everything. And bro,
like, I have a cousin. I mean, his tape dropped I believe the 11th. But yeah, I have a cousin. He dropping a tape. I was gonna live stream the tape, like a full reaction of the tape. But but as far as like, when it comes to him looking for like little details that he need to fix on the music, I'm gonna tell him. Cause I feel like a solid team not supposed to let you just put out anything.
For real, I don't want yes men around me. That's one thing, because it's not even anything to do with trying to be real or nothing. I, as an individual outside of music, I'm a very honest person, and I want people to be honest with me. That's why, even, okay, this is a random example, but even like when I'm dealing with girls and shit, if a girl's not going to be straightforward with me, I will drop her straight away, because I'm like, I ain't got time for all of this beat around the bush, maybe so. And because 9 times out of 10, when girls be doing this shit, they already know that, oh yeah, I like him, but I'm gonna make him wait or what. I'm like, I ain't, bro, because if you ask me, I'm gonna be straight up and say what I feel. So I don't get why we're sitting here doing all of this. So me being an honest person like that, if I'm making an album, and that's why I don't get when all these artists they built their egos at such a point where the people around them can't even say, hey, Jordan, maybe not make so many distorted beats on one album. Uzi, maybe try a bit hard on some of the songs. Like little stuff.
And that's one thing. Uzi really don't go as hard as he needs to on like some of the songs he dropped recently.
It's crazy because Pierre dropped Source Boy 2 with him. And I listened to that verse, and the first thing I thought after was, why the heck doesn't he do this on his own songs? Why does he wait till features to bring this type of energy?
I don't know. Is it
and Source Boy 2 is not even him at 4%, let's be real. That's like 60%. It just happens that the majority of his music is like 40% energy. So even just that little boost is enough to make you want to like turn your head and be like, oh, okay.
Imagine if he had 100. I feel like when he made Exo Tour Life, he was definitely hurt. That's a hurt song.
And that's what I'm saying because he does not put that much energy into his music anymore. And it's not even say it's a bad thing because artists grow and artists change. A lot of people need to forget that. I'm not even hung up on Exo Tour Life because there's people to this day that are like, ah, Exo Tour, and I'm like, bruv, it was flipping 20 seconds. Can we like move on? Why is your head so far in the past? Artists grow, artists change. And so even when I'm judging an artist, I'm going based off now. I don't do that whole dumb thing of comparing it to old works and the. When I said Whole Lot of Red was trash when it first dropped, I was speaking about Whole Lot of Red objectively. I wasn't doing what people were doing where they were comparing. If I compared it to Dialect, I would have probably had an even worse opinion because
Yeah, that
Dialect
little
is an album that I went into expecting to not like and was very, very surprised
dog.
by.
Listen, I remember that he tweeted it. When he tweeted it, it dropped. When he tweeted it dropped, I was like, I was on a game. I went on Spotify on my PlayStation, and I had dropped it. I mean, not dropped it, but I had to listen to it. What's up? Mm, I got it. Anyways, what I was saying, I was saying when it dropped, I was on my PlayStation, and when he tweeted it, damn it, I was on my PlayStation, and when he tweeted it, it had dropped, bro. I had listened to it in my headphones. The first song was "Long Time," bro. I swear, I was hypnotized. I was
For real.
like, I was like, this nigga's my favorite rapper. That's when I realized that nigga was my favorite rapper. He dropped a long time. Like I've been messing with Cardi, but like when he dropped time,
The thing, I feel like one of the biggest parts of like music and whatnot is remembering. And a lot of people, especially nowadays with social media and everyone, because social media gives everyone a platform to share their opinion. And let's be real, some people don't need to share their opinion, but nonetheless, we got to deal with it. So the biggest obstacles to overcome is remembering that all art is subjective, and that includes music. A lot of people get caught up in this whole. That's why even the greatest of all time debate, I'm like, it's such a pointless debate because my greatest of all time is not going to be your greatest of all time. So why are we going into this trying to have what is called a debate, right, which is supposed to be a logical discussion when we're discussing things that are illogical and clearly going to lead to an argument? So I don't have even now. I don't have a greatest of all time off the top of my head. I know what I like. I know what I listen to frequently. I know what I listen to even when it's not frequently, but I don't have a greatest of all time, or I don't feel I don't set a goal where when artists are setting their goal of I want to be the greatest of all time. It's like, what does that mean? Because even me saying I want to be the greatest out of London, I feel like is at least a lot more specific. I don't have that much competition really. And the only person I can see that's on the kind of wave that I'm on is Lancey. And I feel like even with Lancey, he's got to a point now where he has a bit of an ego. And so he's chilling on it a bit. And I'm like, you had a buzz going, you need to capitalize off that buzz. But I'm the type of person, I'm always hungry. Because that's why I said, because I don't go off of numbers, I go off of, I made this track, I'm listening back to it. A week later, nah, I can do better. Let me go in the studio and do it. So me being like that, there is no possible world in which I'm going to be unhappy from music. Because I'm not setting some arbitrary, unclear goal of, the great. Because what is the greatest of all time? I can go down the street and ask Tom, I'm at a goat, and he can say, yeah. And I can ask Sally, and she's like, nah, I like Lil Baby. So, really, people need to remember at the end of the day, music is subjective. And a lot of people don't even know the people they're making music for. And then wonder why. Because even like a big part of being an artist is noticing patterns. Like when you go to live shows, what is 99% of the audience?
I don't know how to say this. Is it
Nah, don't even try and be politically correct about it. It's white people. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah, yeah. I
Because
was say I don't know how to say
the
it.
irony of it is, go to any rapper and whatnot and check their demographic on Spotify. It's probably majority black people, but when it comes to actually putting money down to support, it's never black people to be there at the live show. It's never, and I'm speaking about big concerts, not
Like
like
Rolling
obviously when you're doing your
Loud.
hometown show or you're performing at a strip club or nightclub or whatever it is. Yeah, but people are there not even just because of you. They're there to just have a good time and you happen to be there. And you either make their time better or worse, right?
Mhm.
But live shows, Coachella, all these shows, you look out to the audience, it is a sea of caucasity. So it's like, how are you as an artist not even aware of the fact that, oh, when I'm doing live shows and whatnot, or these are actually the people that are probably your core fan base. Because for you to get rich as a rapper, yeah, let's keep it real. If you blow up as a rapper and you get rich, your majority fan base is not black people anymore. Because for you to have gotten rich, coming from where you've come from, you know for a fact, looking around, no one had money to go and buy a mixtape, or you had to be damn good for me to want to get and take some of my money, knowing that I have my own struggle and shit going on, to want to go buy your mixtape. So, for a fact that you blow up as a rapper, you have to accept that as well. That's why it's crazy to me when all these rappers want to be mainstream. I'm like, do you even get what comes with that? Because you get called a sellout. You get all these things, all these labels attached to you. And it's like, I'd much rather just make real music to where I can say, whether you're black, white, whatever, like, you fuck my music, I fuck with you too.
And that's another thing that the rap community lacks. Well,
Because
the music community lacks.
niggas want to be hood rappers, but don't want to be famous. The two don't go together. As soon as you get famous, majority of your fan base isn't black people anymore, it's white folks. So how are you a hood rapper in that context?
Yo.
And then that's why it's crazy. The whole hood rapper thing is dumb. Because even in the UK, when it comes to drill, we've got rappers that are full millionaires, right? Have enough money to be living in penthouses all year round and are still riding out on ops and everything. And I'm like, you are a grown man. You are dumb as hell to be having an opportunity to get out of the hood and go right back. That is crazy to me.
I don't understand
As
why
I'm saying,
people do that.
the
I don't know
only
why.
the
Why
only
do they do
person,
that?
the only entity in this whole universe that you should hold loyalty to is yourself. Why am I gonna hold loyalty to an error code that doesn't even fucking care about me? Because unless you blew and got famous and got on, no one cared who you were in your ends. Just because you had your couple friends or whatever who, let's be real, are also gonna switch when you become famous. Everyone feels this need to, I gotta remain loyal to the hood and do something for your hood by setting a good example for the kids to have something to look up to, instead of coming back and trying to. It's crazy to me.
I,
That's how I am as an
does
individual.
this really go on in London, like what you just said?
I am not capping. Some of the most famous drill rappers that you know are still in the trap, are still riding out on ops, doing all of this shit that they don't even need to be doing, all for either their own ego to feel like, oh, I'm still real, which just shows how insecure you are, or this whole thing of portraying a real image, which I'm like, or some of them, it's actually literally just because they've got so stuck up in their life that even once they have an opportunity to get out, they can't, which is beyond crazy to me. There's one, I was watching a music video yesterday, Heady One, who literally had gotten out of jail at the time of the music video. I was talking about how he just got out and was running back to the trap to make trips to catch up for the time he was in. And I'm like, you just came out of jail for a crime and you went to go catch up on the crimes you missed out. Like, are
That
you
doesn't make
making sense? You are famous. You are literally a national icon. You have no reason to be in the trap at this point.
Dog.
No reason. Because even with like Carti, for example, which is only recently that I found out that like, oh, he actually still has got ties of people in Atlanta that be killers, and I'm like, that's not a good thing either.
You have a son. I don't know what's
You are an international rap star. You have no reason to still be affiliated with people that are doing shootings and shit. No reason. Because with this whole authenticity thing, people forget that I'm not even gonna say like don't be real. Like everyone should be a real nigga, but a lot of people's definitions of real nigga, like even when you hear Tupac explain what thug life meant to him, it's not what a lot of people make it out to be nowadays. It was a positive thing. It really was. It was just about being an upstanding guy. That's all it was.
I feel like this generation carried that message so wrong.
Thank you. They took a message and then didn't even think to look deeper into what it was. Because even thug being an acronym and everything, like, it's crazy. What was it? The hate you give little infants fucks everybody.
That is what thug meaning.
Like, no one ever wants to even do their research into it. So when people have this whole thing of trying to be a real nigga, I'm like, real for who? No one cares about you. At the end of the day, if you go to prison, you're serving that sentence by yourself. If you die, you're dying by yourself. Ain't their family that's affected, it's yours. And if you're supposed to be the breadwinner in your family and you figured out a way to get out of a situation where it's generation after generation of that situation, and then you're risking it all for a reputation, you are not a man. That is childish as hell.
That shit makes so much sense, bro. That shit makes 100% sense. Like, I don't know why people do that. I don't know why rappers go back to their hoods that you struggle from, that you did crimes in. You have all these chains and jewels. Best believe you are a target, and you still gonna go
It's
back.
it's the crazy thing about it as well is I get why and where it comes from, but the thing that a lot of people forget, and especially that's why I give the example, when you was down, who cared about you? It was just your family and friends. No one else had a reason to give you even a second thought. So when you go back to that hood and are now claiming loyalty to it, they didn't give a shit before you were famous. Not a flying monkey.
You said who?
So when rappers have this whole thing of like, I'm gonna go back, or I'm smart enough to understand. I love London, right? Because that's where I'm from. That's my city for sure. But I've already told most people that I know once I start getting a bit of bread, I'm moving to LA. Because I get that there's more opportunities out there for me. It's somewhere that I see myself living in the future. It's my dream. That's what I'm working to make happen. It wouldn't make sense for me. I already told my mom this. It wouldn't make sense for me to make all this money and get to this point to still be living in the same flipping area. Then what did I do it for? Have I been shown any growth? Really and truly? Because I can be growing in every other aspect of my life, yeah. But for me to still be tied down to the same place, it's like, bro, what genuinely? Because then it's like, what are you as an individual? You are literally a product of your environment, and that's it. For you to not have any sort of goal or aspiration to say, I see myself here, because I don't know, maybe it's just me not being like a person that necessarily cares too much about even street shit and a rep or whatever. I just move smart and that's about it. But when it comes to that, I'm like, you have to realize that no one cares. And there's a lot of things in life that will give you the illusion of people caring. You get famous and you think people care, right? Social media makes you think people care, even if you're not famous. No one cares. At the end of the day, you are the only one living your life. Like,
why are people living on the internet, bro?
But even with that, it's not even why, because once you figure out the deeper root cause of it, it's like, because it's a good point that you made. For you to be a grown man and like have an attention-seeking issue, yeah, as a grown man, it's like, what's going on there? And attention, like for example, with a guy like 6ix9ine, for example, right, an attention-seeking issue that runs so deep that you're willing to risk your life for it.
Life, not even he willing to risk his daughter lives, dude. Like
people that put their life on the line like that in a position of privilege like that are selfish. Okay, there's no other way to put it. You're selfish because your family relies on you and you've worked to get to that point so you can take care of your family. And because even when Solomon Knight made a video yesterday about Lil Durk, and he made some good points in there. For you to get to that point that Lil Durk is at, and Lil Durk has blown up not once but twice, because he blew up initially, which is where he gained his core strong fan base, and then he's become more mainstream now, and is getting his recognition that he's been deserved from time ago. Right? It's like, for you to get to that position and still be in these streets, and you're losing people around you left, right, and center. It's like, does it not get to a point where you understand that there's bigger things that are more important?
No, but I feel like that guy already catching up with Dirt. When I think about it, cause like rap job, like being in the streets, moving, killing, doing what he say he doing. I don't put it back.
There you go.
I just feel like it's just catching up to him because he's getting so much success that it just gotta come back to him like this. It gotta come back to him in death.
There's a lot of unflattering realities about life that people don't accept, and that's one of them, is that people will only celebrate you when you're up, right? And it's like, knowing that you have no reason to have any sort of loyalty or obligation towards those people, because you know for a fact, and I say this, the reason that, for example, most guys are sad when they realize that a girl will literally switch and all of a sudden like them as soon as they get famous or get on. The reason it's a sad realization for most guys is because they know deep down they are the exact same guy they were when they were broke. Exact same. The only thing that's changed is a couple more zeros on their bank account. And solely because of that, a girl will turn around and say, I'll give you a chance now. That's why I feel like as a person, if you're willing to, and this is, I was saying again, a big part of what X was for, if you're willing to let go of your past self and fully grow and be a different person, you're not going to feel that same, because you accept that it's just the reality of life. Like, I am not the person I was 2 years ago, for example. And so I could not even feel any sort of way about what happened to that person, because that's not me. I've learned so much since then, like such a significant amount. And that's a big part of growing up, is every year, it's like what you learn grows exponentially. Like what you learn between 15 and 16 is not the same as what you learn between 16 and 17, and vice versa.
That makes sense, but that's really something that I'm gonna take with me for sure.
Nah, for real, it's real shit. But to come back to the music side of things, for me, and I feel funny talking about it the way I talk about it, because I'm not even somewhat remotely famous yet. Like, I'm not even a local thing, which you can't really get local famous in London, because London is not like the US. Your community doesn't support you. They don't support you until you're actually up there. You have to, there's no such thing as like a local buzz here, or hood famous, or nah. Like Lancey worked and worked and worked for like a good 5 years as slaving to now get the recognition that he has, which is global, right? Mm-hmm. But no one in London was rocking with Lancey because he was different. They all knew he was making fire music, but they just didn't like the fact that he was different. Because then what they would do is they would try and put the label on you, oh, he's a sellout. He's trying to mark himself to America. Nah, maybe he's just trying to make music that isn't the same as all the other music that you guys make that gets everybody killed. Food for thought.
Yeah, when I listen to Latin music, I don't hear as much like violence. I don't really hear
it. It's nothing to even do with violence. What I'll say is there's no violence without purpose, because something like his last tape, yeah, First Degree, which was more of an aggressive tape, yeah. Mm-hmm. It came from somewhere. You got that it was coming from a place of him having something to prove, and him getting sick and tired of being compared to this guy and that guy, and he's the British Cartier or whatever, and when he been doing this. So all of that aggression that he put into the music, that's what I appreciate about him, because he's like me. I will not because drill music is aggressive just for the sake of aggressiveness, just for the sake of bravado or whatever. I will not make a song that is aggressive without there being an intentional purpose behind it. Because if music is supposed to be conveying emotions and you're a drill artist and every single song you make is aggressive, then what really are you, like, as an artist, what dimensions or different sides of yourself are you showing besides just aggressiveness?
And I really feel like not talking down bad on the UK artists or drill artists.
It's not even talking bad. You got to state the truth, son.
Oh yeah, this is true. Literally every like song beat selection is telling the same story just from a different person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Literally,
Mm-hmm.
like the beats, the. Hey, question
And
though.
it's because I got.
Do they really carry like shanks and knives?
Oh yeah. That's real shit. That's not even a joke.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. That's another example of dumb logic because everyone does it because everyone does it. So really, all it would take is the one person to stop, and then one by one, everybody would stop.
That's a domino effect right there.
There you go. Exactly. That's what I say. It's just a cycle of. But yeah, I
Cycle of
definitely,
like
I
wanting to
definitely
fit
got a
in.
good couple friends that stay with it. But me personally, bro, that was a time I went to one of my boys' yards and we were literally just stepping out to get Taco Bell, and he had to keep on him, and I was like, bro, we're going down the road to get food. He's like, hey, you don't know who we're gonna see on the way there. I was like, all right,
Shoot.
but
That's how
nah,
some
but
people down here.
for
Usually.
real, a lot of people be needing context for the knife crime in London because they're like, especially for Americans where you guys have firearms in it. It's more of like a joke thing, but I'm like, I always say, I'm like, between getting shot and then getting stabbed, I'd rather get shot any day. No one wants to admit that getting stabbed is a way more painful experience and a way more painful and long death. So when Americans are like, oh, shanks and whatnot, I'm like, yeah, but if you came here and got shanked, you wouldn't be saying that. Like, that's why it's such a big deal. It's because that is brutal. It doesn't take much balls to point a gun at somebody and shoot. There's kids that accidentally shoot people. It takes a whole different level of being messed up in the head to stab somebody, like fatally wound someone. And if you see how they be stabbing in London, it's not no little, oh, just run up and poke in your belly. No, like slice your shit open.
Brutal.
So,
So like they really be like so like people really be sliding on the ops.
just to give you the brief context, right? We as a country made the very intelligent decision of, unlike you guys, unlawing firearms, right? There was a point, the same way early in US history when you guys had muskets, though we had guns here and artillery. And to this day, which a lot of Americans don't understand, we do have guns. The same way, because Americans use this logic of, oh, well, they're legal, so clearly no one that raps about guns has guns. Okay, weed is illegal in most states. I'm pretty sure everyone still smokes it. So you get the gist. There are guns here. A good decent amount.
No, I'm pretty sure there are guns are.
So
Come on.
it's not even to do with there not being guns. It's more so just that knives are more accessible and affordable. We're being honest, because for me to get a gun is like a good rack, which I wouldn't mind paying because it's more security than a shank for sure. But that's just from coming from a perspective of security in it. But so we outlawed guns, right? One of the smartest decisions. Every country that's outlawed guns has a significantly lower crime rate than you guys. And so that was first smart decision because the UK was smart enough to understand that outlawing guns doesn't mean they're going to go away, but it significantly increases how difficult it is to get hold of one, which is why just having one is a hefty 5 years behind bars. So we outlawed guns. So cool. People find ways to get illegal guns. Okay, so the UK cracks down on it more. They increase the sentence for it. It's a tougher time to do. So now anyone that has a gun is basically a criminal by definition, because there's no one that has a gun just because, with the exception of the white people in the countryside that we have up here that have guns for shooting and farming and whatnot. Everybody that owns a gun pretty much is a criminal, because there's no reason you'd go to such an extent to get one if you wasn't. And you didn't have something to protect yourself from. So then people turn to knives. Knife crime picks up and everything. And it goes from just, grab a kitchen knife because that's the quickest and easiest thing I had that I could use to harm someone, to now, cool, I'm going to get a machete. So now, especially in modern day, where I can flip and order a zombie knife online, dark web, whatever it is. And there you go. So then we have our whole knife crime problem. And the whole knife crime issue is dumb as hell, in my opinion, because it's just a thing of, I have an issue with you, I'm going to stab you. I'm not going to do a good enough job because obviously I don't have experience killing somebody. And so you're going to survive. And when you survive, you're going to tell your family. And then your big brother's going to come and try and stab me. And then, he's obviously going to do a better job because he has more experience, and he kills me. And then my family's going to find out who it is. Back and forth, tit for tat. And then, area code gangs as well. All of this. I'm very much out of it. I'm just watching from the sidelines. I have my popcorn. I'm just spectating. So we have guns. And it's not even, because even the way I'm saying, I feel like I have to prove something. But now, for sure, there's guns here. It's just that it's a less accessible method. And I would say even knife crime being as big as it is not a cool thing like people make it out to be. It's not something I consider to be a part of English culture, because, bro, it's just dumb as hell, the whole situation. At least in America, you guys be killing people over money. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Somebody mess with your money, cool. Or somebody disrespect. But even then, the whole disrespect thing as well, I feel like it's dumb. Where it's like, you disrespect me, we have beef now. Because I'm like, so you guys are fully going to kill someone because they disrespected you, or you didn't like the way that they said something.
He's weird over here, dog.
But let me not even get too into that, because
we're gonna say that. We're gonna say that for a whole other episode. Like,
for real.
Like podcast talk.
That's a whole other topic, for real.
Shoot, but besides, like, as far as other artists and the other music things about you, man, how long have you been doing music?
Shit, that's a good question.
Just for the people that don't know.
I started freestyling in like, okay. So I discovered I've been listening to music my whole life, basically. And from when I was young, I'll be listening to music, but then I'll be freestyling over the song. And it was just a habit, right? Little did I know that habit would then become very useful later on, but and so that's so pretty much my whole life, right? I started writing seriously in year 4, so 4th grade. And then I've been writing regularly from 4th grade all the way up until now. And then I started recording music about last year, because I had to overcome that hurdle of like doubting yourself, where it's like, I don't know. And all these things come into account as well, as what people don't get, which is why it's more difficult as a UK artist, because you have those things in the back of your head of like, I'm not going to be able to get on in the US, or like maybe people aren't going to like how I sound. I just had to develop this fucking mentality. I was like, it's whatever, because I'm only having one shot at life. I'm not going to sit there and be on my deathbed regretting the fact that I didn't at least try. And lo and behold, me trying and in doing it, I discovered that I'm one of the few people that I guess has a voice that US people like, in a way. And even then, I feel like it's partially because even the way I speak, I'm a lot more softer spoken. A lot of British rap here is very hard, and they're like, yeah, bruv, yeah, like it's all very, and it's like, for sure, do your thing. Do you know what I mean? I'm not even gonna crap on it, but even people like Skepta. Skepta is defo the best UK rapper we have, but another rapper that we have that is very underrated is Chipmunk, or Chip, because Chip it flows a lot better than Skepta. It's not up and down, like he just floats on beats. And I feel like that's how it should be in terms of rap. But everyone has their own style, and Skepta's style works him as well because Skepta's being aggressive from young, and Skepta's a demon, bro. Bro gets the mic and just goes crazy. But yeah, so I started recording last year once I overcame that. And that's why in terms of giving artists advice, I always say the thing of that hurdle that you have to overcome, yeah. It is a matter of sometimes in life, just do it. Like, no Shia LaBeouf intended, but you gotta just do it sometimes. There's no one that's gonna be able to talk you into or give you the advice that you need or the words that you need to hear. You gotta just start, literally. Because too many people are worried about starting correct or starting on the right foot. When you was learning to walk when you was a baby, I don't think you were stressing about form. Like, let's keep it real. So everyone just got to start somewhere.
That's a good reference right there, for sure.
And yeah, because everyone forgets that any skill that you have now, you were shit when you started. Any skill you can think of. I'm decent at rapping now. Was I good back then? No, couldn't freestyle to save my life. Couldn't go past 4 bars. Basketball. I only started playing basketball seriously like 3 years back. And you can ask all my friends I was playing with. I was double dribbling here, traveling there. I was, bro. Now, fairly decent. And that was all just from putting in work. And also, people. That's how people forget. It's a lot more difficult when it's something you care about, right? Because when you care about music, that's why it's a lot more difficult to overcome that hurdle of, but I want to start off like, like Frank Ocean doesn't have any misses in his discography. So like, I don't want to start off and make a shit song. And it's like, I get that, but you have to detach yourself from it for a moment and understand that you're either going to start now or never. So whether it's shit or not, or whatever it is, you just got to make some sort of start and go from there, basically.
For sure. All right.
Yeah.
So before we wrap it up, man, tell the people, like, just a quick background. Just a quick background. Where you from?
I'm from London, England. I'm a proud
London.
citizen. Well, I say proud citizen. I'm not patriotic like that. Like, I don't mess with the Queen and all of them. I feel like they're taking tax money, but it's whatever. So I'm a semi-proud citizen of Britain.
He's not the tax money, bruh. The tax.
Nah, listen, I'm on that slow tie wave. Nothing great about Britain. Shouts out to slow tie. But I'm from London. Of African descent. Real Negro from the motherland. Them type vibes. Yeah, grown up here. Pretty much always been here, innit? This is just where I'm from. But I'm one of those people that like knows a lot about what's going on outside. And obviously me being into rap, you got to know something about American culture to even appreciate rap. So I'm educated. I know the background, whether it's UK rap, US rap. I just appreciate music as a whole, and I'm someone I'm crazy about music. In terms of background, all you need to know about me is that, I ain't the type of person that's gonna sit here and tell you I had it tough, because even though I did, I feel like it's to focus on, going forward and how things are looking in the future, and the future's looking bright. So I stay focused on.
All right, last question.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see yourself in 5 more years?
5? That's a good question. I can't look at. 5 years, 2026.
Sheesh.
I know it's crazy to say it, right? But I see myself probably. I'm gonna just go off numbers, yeah, because using terms like mainstream and whatnot is very vague, innit? But to go off numbers, right? I see myself like, I don't know, maybe like 10K followers on IG and like, let's say 20K on SoundCloud, right? So I see myself having a buzz, at least a little fan base. In terms of achievements, I mean, we have like British equivalents to Grammys and stuff in it, which like Mobile Awards and stuff, which would be cool to win. Or like I really want a BET award. So probably in 5 years, I see myself having a BET award. I probably would have dropped my first album by then. Touring for sure. that's something that is a big part of what made me want to be an artist. Touring, drop my first album, probably have a mobile award to my name, and just doing what I'm doing now and always will continue to do, which is try and make the best music I can for real. And so all numbers and shit aside, and I look forward to obviously having a platform to then be able to like spread a positive message. But all platform and fame and notoriety aside is just about making the best music I can. And I encourage anyone that like messes with me, whatever it is your craft, whether it's basketball, whether you're into computer science, whatever it is that you're into, strive to have that same kind of passion for greatness. You know what I mean?
That's real. That's real good. Now, have anything to say to the upcoming rappers who are scared to maybe any upcoming people who are maybe scared to brand themselves because of
I'm a
the
I'm gonna
embarrassment?
say this: if you're doubting your ability, it's because you know you have ability. So just start. Literally, don't think too much about it. It's it's something that it's funny because when I was starting, it's something I'd hear a lot from my favorite artists, and I was like, that's not helpful advice. I don't want you to tell me to just start. I need you to tell me that magical thing that's gonna make me get up and record my first song. But a big part of, because it happens with just maturing as well with age in terms of life, is understanding no one else is going to do it for you. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're living life for yourself and yourself only. You know, we care a lot about like our family and our parents because those are the people that raise us. And you want to make them proud, but you have to understand that I've always said, even if me doing music didn't make my mum proud, I still would have to do it for myself because I understand that my fulfillment as an individual is the most important thing in life. And I know that if my mum loves me enough, she'd probably want to see me happy doing what I love, even if she doesn't agree with it. So I always say, especially coming from an African, like if you just come from a black household, anyone that comes from an ethnic minority household, our parents can not always be the most supportive of wanting to do a career in something like music or rap or whatever it is. But if you're an upcoming artist and you're hearing this and you're like me and you're struggling to write a song back then, or you don't want to record, or you're worried about how you're gonna sound, or how the people you go to school with are gonna like fuck your music or not fuck your music, I'm gonna tell you this: there are so many rappers we've seen come and go. Life is too short to be worried about what other people think, because the same way you're stressing about what other people think, other people are stressing about the exact same thing. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to get anywhere from focusing on what other people are focusing on, because then that's how you end up being an average person. If you're someone that genuinely wants to strive to be excellent and to be great, you gotta take that step. You gotta take that risk, and it's got to be a risk worth taking as well. Is what you have to understand, and you will know if you're thinking about it that much that it is a risk worth taking. So take that first step, write that first song. Not even the first song, just write the first line, write the title, whatever it is to get you started, and just build up from there. Just understand that it's all progress. No one pops out and is just magically the best artist ever. Everything takes time. Some people it takes less, some people it takes more, but you're never gonna know until you start. And that's the end of my TED talk, my monologue.
No, man. Anyways, back on for this episode. This will not be the last time that we get my boy on the show. Not the last time.
For real, for
But
real.
shout out to him for dropping through. As y'all can see, it is clock fourth on the East Coast right now. States right now. I'm guessing that is what 9:50, 10.
Yeah, it's about 9:50. Yeah, 9:50. Yeah.
Yes, so that was. I really stayed up late